interesting because sometimes when we do things, we don't realize we do them or whatever, you know. And what happened was, I'm a music artist. I do hip hop, but I love comics and the culture itself. I was like, how can I merge these two loves together? So, like all creators, you think outside the box. You think of, how can I make this work? How can I get my vision across? So I combined those two loves together and ended up creating Troubles Back. Troubles Back is basically my life as a hip-hop artist, and then my struggles is what I'm trying to, because many times when we have success, everyone sees the success, but they don't see the work to get there. So what I ended up doing is shedding light on the struggles, the tribulations, how to deal with struggles in general, life in general. So what I ended up doing is hip-hop, state of hip-hop right now is not so great, you know. There's stuff on the radio that you just can't understand the words. That's just the tip of the iceberg for me, and that was like my foot in the door. I was thinking to myself, okay, how can I even just jump into this? So I thought to myself, well, mumble rap. To me, it's an evil in the music world, but you get nothing out of it. So I was like, my music personally, it has to have a message. Just like the book that I have has a message. And sometimes you won't catch it right off the bat until you kind of like go back and look at it. Kind of like a movie. How many guys like watch the movie over and over, but the second time around, third time around, you're looking for Easter eggs, you're looking for other messages, or maybe how it was approached. That's how I approach my creations. I put stuff in there as well that hopefully, people will catch it and realize that, man, I did not realize it, but I actually got something out of this. The message, could be the inspiration you may get from something in the story, the process of creating the story. I mean, it could be anything. You know, we all interpret everything differently. So I went ahead and just figured out, okay, for my first initial thought was, is it possible? Initially, like all people, you know, with a dream, sometimes we're like, that's not really possible. But I had a friend of mine, he was on the verge of creating his first comic book, and he was like, dude, you actually realize that making a comic book is actually possible? And I was like, elaborate. He was like, well, first, you gotta start with an idea. I was like, all right, I got that, check. I was like, second, you just gotta start thinking structure, format, you know, how do I get from point A to point B? So what I ended up doing is, he gave me information and was like, okay, look around you. The information is really there. Social media played a big role into getting the ball rolling. I did research on formatting, structure. What elements, or what are the basics, basically. Any story, you gotta have characters, you gotta have a story, you gotta have the detailed level of how you want things to look, you know. What does your character represent? You know, all the nitty-gritty details. So I basically did that with the information I was given, and that information was, okay, these are a couple of groups to join on Facebook. You know, I'm coming from the aspect of a writer, I can't draw, so, let me rephrase that. I can draw, but not to the skill level that I need. We all can draw, but we have a vision on how we want our story to be like. So I was like, this is in my head, this is how I want it to look, but what do? I gotta find something that can do it. So the point that I'm trying to make is, if you feel you can't do it, find a way to make it happen, because if we remove "can't" from our vocabulary, we'll find a way to make it work, a way to make it happen. And I did that. I found an artist after, I don't know, it took me a couple of months, kind of asking for people's portfolios, their prices, and then I found the one. And I was like, okay, let's get the ball rolling. What do I do next? It's easy. I started with my characters. We don't think about that, we think we have the story and idea, but then you gotta start thinking about the details. Start thinking about the details, character design. What do I want my characters to look like? And the beauty of that is, what do you like? This more of a question to you guys. Like, how do you think your favorite movie or your favorite book, favorite comic book, like, where do you think those ideas came from? Do you think they just came out of thin air, or are they based on something? In my experience, it was just that. Life. A lot of my characters are based on real people. In fact, some of them are the exact person that they are in the book. They are like that in real life. So what I'm trying to say is, all around us, inspiration is all around us. So if we open up our eyes and look, anything we want to create, we can create that. My story, just to give a little backstory, issue 1 of my book wrote itself. This is just kind of just thinking. The ideas brewed in my head for so long. My thinking time is my drive home from work. And I would think to myself, okay, I got this. I think this is the direction I want to go with my story. This is what I want my villain to be. It just wrote itself. But there was one thing missing.
You don't want to be here.
They're just up here. They're just in my head. And I realized, man, I know it seems like common sense, but sometimes if we get so caught up with life, we may forget a good idea. We may be onto something. So just write it down. We all got phones, voice memo, notepad, something on your phone. Write the ideas down. If you don't write the ideas down, you may forget a great idea, and it's just going to be a good idea because you partially remember it. And after issue 1 wrote itself, I kind of try to duplicate that. But creation, there's no, sometimes the same formula doesn't work twice. But the concept is there. So I did the same thing, except it didn't necessarily write itself. We're our own worst critic. So issue 2 got rewrote 3-4 times. And then I realized, though I'm being hard on myself, it's also just a sign that I'm really passionate about what I'm doing. So I want to give my readers the best content that I can. So I felt like it wasn't enough. I just get back to the scratching board and build on what I have, build around. And when I did that, I let a couple of months pass, and then life always gets in the way, of our dreams sometimes. But why let it get in the way? Why not use that as inspiration to create? And then I created. So the story itself, though it morphed into something, things that were happening in my life, I realized, how can I spin it into the story? How can I put it in the story? Being that the story itself is based on reality, though there are some fictional elements, the basis is based on reality. So I did that, and it's just, you know, trouble's back, you know. Best way to describe it, because of what I've been through, hip-hop, superhero, trying to battle the evils of the music industry. And that's exactly what I did. It's hard, but it was very satisfying feeling to hold the book once it's done. And when I did that, I was like, man, it was like confirmation, I can do this. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm so inspired and motivated. Every time I do these Comic Cons and I speak to people, it drives me to keep pushing. And at this point, there's life even after trouble's back. Like my plan is five-issue miniseries for just the title itself. But now I'm thinking outside the box. I'm constantly thinking ideas, and they come to me. You know, I can have a bad day at work. I can have a good day at work, and the ideas are there. You know, you just gotta kind of think. You know, like, what do I want to do my book about? What do I want it to be about? You know, and sometimes it's been in front of us the whole time. Now, what do you do if you want it to be completely fictional? You gotta have a basis, right? You know, so the basis is whatever you want it to be. But at least the basis, to me, my reality gave me the basis and the foundation for my stories. And I mean, I think that's what's gonna continue to happen. You know, that's gonna be that's gonna be my guide. Life is my guide to tell my stories. And why not, you know? I mean, we all can escape from reality by creating stories, but we also can make reality a story, if you get what I'm saying. You know, it's been nice, you know, because the fact that there's so many ways we can create. You know, perfect example, you know, doing this cons, I met my buddy here, Jeremy, with Cargo Images. I met him and he was inspired by my story that he was like, let me draw something up for you. But it's just, what I'm trying to say is, we meet people every day, and sometimes you never know why we meet, but embrace it, regardless. So he's actually going to be a variant cover on my issue too. I mean, I was like, you know what? Why not? You know, like, you know, skill levels are, everything's there. You know, you're a fellow comic creator, or in the making. However you want to spit it. You know, that's you're ahead of the ball game right there. You know, and the fact that, let me ask you this. If you see someone else doing it, does it make you feel like, oh man, maybe it is possible? I mean, I can do it, you know? It gives you something to look. That's what happened to me, and to me, I'm like, okay, my buddy, he inspired me to do it. So why not pay it forward? Why not show others that, you know, you can do it too? Why not, you know? And I don't want to say that it's just about comics. You know, what if you guys want to write a novel, write a script for a movie, do a movie? You know, the same concept it's still the same. It's just a different form of media. You know, me personally, I just love comics, so I'm gonna make comics. But the more and more I think about it, why not venture into something else eventually? I don't know what my future holds, but I know that I'm always going to create. And to me, creating is therapeutic. So I do it, you know? And whenever I'm in a rut, I create. Whenever I'm not in a rut, I create. So, I mean, even to the extent of doing a simple task, where, I don't know, maybe at work, I'd be at home, I always see something, I hear something, and for whatever reason, inspired me to create. They're bad. So, it's one of those things that if you want to do it, nothing's holding you back but yourself. So just do it, man. Like, it's whatever you want to do. Sky's the limit. I know it's a cliche, but it is. The sky's the limit. Really, sky isn't the limit because, it's funny how that works, isn't it? The sky's the limit, but it really isn't the limit, But, the opportunities are endless, is what I'm trying to say. Anybody here, I know you, y'all want to create comics. You guys want to just create in general. Is there anybody else that's thinking about creating? Let me ask you, what do you want to create?
Either a comic, animation series, or novel.
Okay. So, having to put a step forward and try to make it happen. If you don't mind me asking, how far along are you? Where are you at in your process?
I'm still in the designing my characters.
Okay. So that's good. To me, the way I see it is, one step forward is exactly that, a step forward. And you're one step closer to making it a reality. And a lot of times, we don't realize that we've been able to do it the whole time. Like when I started, I would say that, I didn't think it was possible. It is. And sometimes it takes someone just to tell you what it is, Now, are you struggling with any piece of it, or do you feel like you have a little bit of direction?
I have a direction, I just need to actually do it.
Okay, interesting, that's good. What's kind of helped me is, I started making a to-do list. Sometimes it's daily, or weekly, whatever, because I kind of felt bad that I fell back on issue 2. Issue 2 should have been done March, April this year. We're already in October. I feel like I failed myself there. But the failure it's a teaching moment, it's an eye-opener. It made me realize that, okay, I want this bad enough, why don't I change my game plan? So I did, and I started the weekly to-do list. Sometimes I do it daily if I feel like I put a hard deadline on myself. Like issue 2 was a hard deadline. Once I realized, okay, I'm so close to it. I literally gave myself, story was written. I was at the scripting stage. I was 5 pages out of my 28 pages I had planned. And all I did was tell myself, I'm gonna do this. And it was like one of those things where I did not let myself get sidetracked. I let myself just tell myself, I'm gonna do it, I'm not gonna try, I'm gonna do it. And next thing you know, I scripted issue 2, the remaining pages after the 5 pages. My head hurts, so I can't do the math right now, which is kind of ironic. My day job is I'm an accountant. So you would think that I can do math right now in my head, but after 5 o'clock, it's harder to do math, and I'm like, whatever. But what I'm trying to say is like I made myself I finished scripting all those pages from a Friday evening to a Sunday night, and I got it done. So I was like, okay, I'm that much closer. So I sent it to my artist, and he was just like, okay, I'll get you my sketches. He got the sketches back to me, and I was like, okay, gotta make some changes, no biggie. Made the changes, and then I saw my first page from issue 2, and I was like, oh man, like I'm there. Like every time I start to see something completed, it just makes me work that much harder. And I don't know, at this point, I feel like I'm finally becoming a little more self-disciplined. You know, I don't even know where I find the time to create sometimes. I got a family, I work too much. You know, I don't work your average 40 hours sometimes. Sometimes I work 80 hours a week, and it's like, where am I gonna find the time to spend time with family and create? I don't know, sometimes you just do. And sometimes, I'm not saying it's healthy, but sometimes when we want something, we may sacrifice an hour of sleep here and there. We may not sleep in one morning. We may be tired from work, but yet, what we end up doing is, okay, let me at least just fit in 15 minutes. Let me at least fit in an hour. Even if you did 15 minutes, how much can you accomplish in 15 minutes if you even did 15 minutes every other day or every couple of days? Do you think you could accomplish something, you know? So what's holding us back? We are, you know? But it doesn't have to be that way. You know, I guarantee that once you drop your first issue, your book, whatever, once you first do that, and you're like, oh man, this is real, and it's gonna motivate you to do more. You know, so I tell you to just try it, or don't try it and do it. You know, do it. You're gonna do it. You know, and you could actually help her. You know, you could actually help her by just saying, hey, how are you coming along? You know, you know, believe it or not, that just asking that question is gonna get her to think about it. And it's almost like being indirectly her support system without really thinking about it, you know? And even if you just ask her, because my buddy has the same problem. I have to ask him, how are you doing on your project? And until I ask him, I shouldn't have to do it, but what are friends for? You know, to help out. Your support system can do a lot for you, even if it's just asking that question, where are you at? You know, or you get something done, you know? It's a reminder that, hey, I probably should get that done. I really want to do this, you know? And it doesn't have to be demeaning. It doesn't have to be negative in any way. It literally could just ask the question, but you can even just encourage it. You know, I'm excited to see what you come up with. You know, we don't think about those things. We don't think about those things at all. But when my girlfriend asks me, "Are you doing your book? You almost done?" First reaction is like, "No, I'm not. I'm not almost done." And then I feel bad, and I'm like, I better get on it. And she starts asking some more. I'm like, okay. I'm not anywhere further than the last time you asked. But it became such a routine and repetitiveness, and I was like, you know what? She cares enough to check to see where I'm at. So, okay. Me, I guess it's the type of person I am, where someone tells me they're proud of me, or keep up the good work. It's gonna make you feel good no matter what. So when she does that to me, it just motivates me to like, okay, let me try harder, you know, because when I finish, who's gonna be there? The first one to support me in my journey, my family. Even my family that's no longer here, that have, you know, passed on, I know what they would have said. They would have been proud. So I keep that in the back of my head, and it keeps me on track. You know, I'm not trying to say that this is the way to do it, but I'm letting you know, like, my journey on what's helped me, because I don't know, it may help you. You know, at the end of the day, I want to see your book. I want to see your book. I want to see your book. You know, you guys trying to create, I want to see your book. I want to see you guys succeed, you know? And succeed isn't measured by money. It's not money. It really isn't, if you think about it. It's actually the action of doing what you set out to do. When money's out of the equation, yes, I know money has to be somewhat in the equation because it costs to create, especially if you're trying to get your story out. But don't think in terms of, if I don't make a lot of money, then I'm not successful. That's not true. It's not true at all. You created a body of work that even if one person appreciates that, you're successful. You know? It's like music. When you touch a person with music, song, hell, a part of a song, hell, a chorus, just a chorus sometimes. It's a game changer. It's no different. It's no different at all. You know, I kind of don't know where to go from here. So I'm gonna ask, like, does anybody have any questions? You know, ask me. Feel free to ask me anything. You know, I can talk more about my book. I can go into detail about how I create in general, or maybe some resources on where I found information. It's up to you guys.
And like, how did you start getting printed? Did you do them yourself?
So, when you say doing yourself, like, are you saying like printing them myself, or actually finding a company or a publisher?
Either one.
Okay, so the way that I did it, just like anything, you ever had a family reunion where you want to get some t-shirts made or something, you know, or an event, you need t-shirts made? It's the same concept. You shop around for a service, the service that's within your budget. The beauty of the day and age that we're in, you can find anything you're looking for. So even if it's just service-based. So just like I shop for a pair of new sneakers, my favorite pair of jeans online, did all the research, right? Google search, man. Like, I know it sounds kind of common sense, but we're at that age where Google University, YouTube University, we find the information we need without realizing it's there. So like what I did, comic book printing, affordable comic book printing, because this is my first rodeo with comics, so I'm like, okay. And I found a company. You probably have an idea of the quality you want. So what I would do, you find a couple of companies, request samples. And once you start to even hold the samples, you're like, man, so close to, this is gonna be my book one day. I'm gonna hold that, I'm gonna get that in the hands of people. So I requested samples. Just to mention a few, you know, Print Ninja. That was a good resource. A little bit above my budget, but if it's in your budget, quality is great. I think it's great. Do request a sample from them, because you get a really cool ninja pin from them and a ninja mask. So, you know, this is one of those things like, hey man, this is cool, you know. But I personally used a company called Greco Printing, and had a subdivision called Comic Spring, which is, there's an ad in the book for it, you know. Because I want to pass along more information, because what's the use if I keep hold of it, you know? I mean, it's not hurting me none, and I like to help people, so it's right there. It's right in front of you, man. It's like Comic Spring, you know, that's so far that's been the most affordable. And when I do these events, I don't know how much merchandise to get. I'm still trying to figure out how much do I order, how much do I need, how much do I normally sell. So the beauty of that company, minimum 25 copies. I can afford that. You know, don't eat out for a week. Go for it. You know what I mean? That's literally what I've done. You know, some days it's almost like the kid that doesn't spend his lunch money because he wants to buy that brand new bike, that brand new video game. It's no different. It's no different. At the end of the day, you may be more satisfied with getting your work of art printed and self-published. The beauty of self-published is you do it your way. At the end of the day, we all want just our story to be heard. And it's easier than you think. Once you start getting into it, you start to realize, man, like, dude was right. Like, I can do this. I will do this. And the next thing you know, next year, or I may see you another con, you may be done. And when you do, I'm gonna go and buy your book. Just because, like, one thing that I've learned is you can't go in this world without showing support. Because what kind of a hypocrite would I be if you bought my book and I can't even buy your book just because I want to pocket sales and not basically be stingy with money. No, it doesn't work that way. One thing I've learned is karma is real, even in the business world, even just in life general. And no good deed goes unnoticed. It always really does come back to you. I'm not saying do things for something in return, but I am saying that because that is human nature. It's human nature, you know. But at the same time, I like to see others thrive for their success. So, yes, you see me in an event, and for whatever reason I don't come by your table. Hey, I got my book for sale. Did you not see I will buy your book, man. I will buy your book. You know, I get busy. Like, it's so funny. I ran a contest for a week, which is weird. I ran a contest for a week just to see what would happen. But it's also my out-of-box thinking. Issue 2 has a product in it, and I was like, I put it out there, and I'm like, this is my product, guys. Do you think you got what it takes to create something? It was more of a challenge, you know, like, I just wanted to also see, like, who would step up, who, under that kind of pressure, I had a total of 10 entries. For 1 week, that's good. And for just pushing that on social media. So what ended up happening, I had so many good entries. Out of those 10, I mean, they were all good. Not gonna lie, they were all good. But some of them were great, and I felt bad just having a grand prize or a first place. So I was like, you know what? I would utilize first, second, third. You know, and I did, and I like the pressure and that someone wanted their artwork to be seen. So at this point, what's ended up happening is not only are they going to get credit, they don't know this, but if they see this, they're going to get monetary compensation. I mean, that wasn't even part of the deal, but I'm going to pay them for their service because I want to, and I appreciated the work that was provided for my use, basically. It's almost like I hired an artist without them knowing I hired an artist, which is kind of weird, but you gotta admit that was some outside of the box thinking. You know, right now they think they're just getting credit in the book. They think they're gonna get a couple of copies and a T-shirt. I know it doesn't sound like much, but you'd be surprised at how many people love just to see their artwork published on something and get it in the hands of people. So, with that being said, I was like, okay, I had to do more. So I was like, you know, let's keep this going. So, even from my characters to just design anything, I pretty much let anybody that wants to be a part of my book be a part of my book. Buddy got a variant, you know. I feel like I know this guy forever, but I barely know him. It's kind of weird how that works. But when you have some kind of connection, it's like, oh man, like, dude, like, I feel like some of the people that I meet here at these events, I've already made some lifelong friends just because that was put in my path. And I know I inspired this guy, but he doesn't know that he inspires me. You know, the little talk that I had with you earlier, you know, that inspires me because you were put in my path, and I'm like, oh man, like it excites me that you want to create. Love that you want to create. Anybody else that want to create, I'm happy for you guys. Keep creating, do it. You know, I want this time next year, if possible, if you guys are done with your body of work, I want to see it. I'll be here. You know, I want to see it, and I want you guys to sit here with me, talk about your journey. Like, what did you encounter? Because my journey is not going to be the same as your journey, but the basics are still there. But it's still your journey, and no one can take that from you. So, next year, man, you'll be able to do it with me. You know? Do it, and there's no thing. Same thing for you. Get your book done. You know? Or at least get close to being done. I know that it's not an overnight thing. But it'd be nice if come next year, you're like, hey man, I got my first draft of my book. Great, that's great. You're almost there. You know? And if you are there, I'll buy your book. Even if it's a romance novel, I will buy it, you know. Just because I like the fact that you want to create. I appreciate creators, but I also appreciate people in general. You know, you don't have to be a creator, but we're all creators. You know, you wake up, whatever you do on your day job, whatever you do in life, we are creating. So this is no different. You know? Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. With all these creative juices and ideas flying around and sharing and everything, at what point from the time you actually start creating your book to getting it out there and published, when do you copyright?
That's a good question. And
To protect your ideas, your creation.
And I'll be honest with you, I have failed at that. My stuff isn't copywritten. Does it need to be? Yes. But at any point, you can copyright, even if you just have the draft, because all you're really going to do is, there's a copyright office, it's like a government website or something. You can go to the Copyright US office, something like that. You literally just register, you know. I will say two things. Look at the difference between a copyright and a trademark. Copyright is a body of work. Trademark, it's a name. So if you think you have the $1 million idea, or you don't, still protect yourself. And I'm glad you asked that question, because that's something that I need to follow up on and have not thought about, because I'm so worried about just getting it done. But that's another thing. What you did just there, I mean, I learned from everybody I meet, and I learned that, hey, I don't have all I don't have everything covered. I should. But I also have approached a lot of things when I create. I don't worry so much about it, because at the end of the day, you have the original writings, you have the original drawings, and that is somewhat protected too, because someone else can't just duplicate that.
Yeah.
They can try, but you're right. I should copyright this stuff. This is stuff that I didn't think about it. Jeremy, am I not right? We get so caught up on just the process of creating it. But you're right.
Somebody gave me a really good idea one time. Actually, it was my ex-husband. I hate to give you that idea, but he told my son what he needed to do is take his body of work and mail it to himself.
Yes, and I've heard that with even music.
Mm-hmm.
If I mail my lyrics to myself in a sealed envelope,
With
never
that
open it,
federal stamp on it.
yeah, it kind of from what I've heard and experiences, there's a loophole there. But the loophole is not good. It's not good in our favor. Sometimes it doesn't hold up in court anymore.
Oh.
If that were to happen. But people don't necessarily always go around stealing ideas. There's so many people out there that can't steal everybody's ideas.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying don't worry about it. Do worry about it. But if you want to truly protect yourself before you release it, copyright it. It's a matter of preference when you want to take care of it, you know? But I think it's almost time. Anybody got additional questions before we cut this? Good question, by the way. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to me rant.